A good half marathon program isn't just about what training you do. It's about when you do it. You can have all the right workouts in your half marathon training plan and still put them together in the wrong order. A hard session at the wrong time can compromise your next workout, your long run, and ultimately your progress. In this video, I'll show you how I structure a training week to balance quality running, easy running, long runs, strength, and recovery. So you're doing enough training to achieve your goal without simply doing as much training as you can tolerate. A good half marathon program isn't just about what training you do. It's also about when you do it. You can have a great long run, great threshold session, some strength work, and plenty of aerobic running. But if you put these sessions together poorly, one workout can compromise the next. That's where weekly periodisation comes in. When I'm designing an athlete's week, I'm trying to balance the training stimulus with sufficient recovery so that they can complete the important sessions well and then actually adapt to them. And one of my key principles behind my coaching is that I'm not trying to maximize the amount of training someone can tolerate. I'm trying to find the minimum amount of training required to achieve that athlete's goal. There are three things I'm continually balancing when I structure an athlete's week: training stimulus, recovery, and practicality. Most of the running is going to be at level 2, endurance or conversational intensity. That's where we accumulate aerobic training without generating unnecessary fatigue. Then we position the more demanding workouts around that. We don't want to put hard session after hard session together simply because those are workouts that look most impressive on paper. The body improves during the combination of training and recovery. If we continually provide stress without enough opportunity to recover, we're potentially compromising performance and increasing risk of injury. But practicality matters as well. The theoretically perfect program isn't much use if it doesn't fit the athlete's actual life. For someone running 3 times per week, I typically prescribe one higher intensity quality session, one level 2 steady run, and one long run. For example, we might have the quality workout on Tuesday, a steady run on Thursday, and a long run on the weekend. If they're running 4 times a week, I generally don't automatically add another hard run. The 4th run is normally another level 2 steady run. That's important because I like to stay reasonably close to the 80-20 principle, where the majority of running time is at lower intensity and only a small portion is quality work. If someone is only running 3 times per week and we make 2 of those runs high intensity, suddenly a very large portion of their training week is hard. We don't need to make every run difficult for it to contribute to their half marathon. Once we get to 5 or 6 runs per week, we have some more flexibility. Tuesday will typically remain our primary quality session, but Thursday now gives us the opportunity for a second quality session. The important word here is opportunity. It's not automatic. I'm going to consider the athlete's training age, experience, chronological age, ability to recover, injury history, performance levels, and goals. The periodization phase also matters. An experienced athlete targeting a faster performance, perhaps around 140 or quicker, may benefit from that second quality stimulus. But there's no hard and fast finishing time rule. One reason we can consider 2 quality workouts for these athletes is that they're also accumulating considerably more level 2 running. And regardless of whether we're running 5 or 6 times, the long run remains one of the key sessions of the week. The weekly structure can stay remarkably similar throughout the half marathon build-up. Tuesday might remain the primary quality day from the beginning to the end. But what we do on Tuesday changes. During foundation and injury prevention phase, the training is predominantly level 2. Even the quality session might simply be a steady run containing short stride outs. For example, 10 by 20 seconds at level 5 with 40 seconds at level 2 between them. During early quality, hill repetitions become a major focus. For suitable athletes completing 2 quality workouts, the second session might be tempo-based. During transition quality phase, threshold training becomes the priority. Some experienced athletes may complete 2 threshold type sessions, while others might combine threshold and tempo. Then during final quality phase, we're becoming increasingly specific to half marathon performance, so tempo training becomes the priority. For athletes completing a second quality workout in this phase, I might include some lower training load VO2 max work. So weekly periodization and overall periodization aren't separate concepts. The weekly structure provides the framework, while the training inside that framework evolves. Once we add strength training, organizing the week becomes a little bit more complicated. Where appropriate, I like athletes to complete 2 strength sessions and have these reasonably well separated across the week. Something like Monday and Thursday, or maybe Monday and Friday. But I'm also looking at where these sessions sit relative to the important running workouts. I don't recommend combining strength training and high intensity quality run on the same day. Both create substantial training stress, and I want sufficient opportunity to recover. If an athlete is running 6 times per week and we need to double up, I'll pair strength with a level 2 steady run instead. My preference would be for strength training in the morning and a run later in the day, leaving as much recovery time as the athlete's lifestyle allows. Flexibility training also has a deliberate pace in the program. That's generally around 30 minutes of stretching, predominantly targeting the running muscles, but including the whole body. That is effectively a recovery session rather than another workout creating fatigue. We use the term quality session to describe higher intensity running, but that can be slightly misleading. For half marathon performance, I'd argue that the long run is the most important quality session we do. The half marathon is an endurance event. We need to develop the aerobic endurance and durability to cover 21.1 kilometers effectively. Most long runs are therefore predominantly level 2, endurance or conversational. Where practical, I also like to schedule the long run on the same day of the week that the athlete will race. If their goal half marathon is on a Sunday, we'll generally do the long run on the Sunday. It's not rigid though. Work, family, and other commitments will always come into consideration. Later in the build-up, we'll introduce a progressive long run for some athletes. But if the program says level 2, don't turn that into a race simply because you are feeling good. Everything I've shown here is a template, not a rigid rule. 2 runners preparing for exactly the same half marathon may have very different weeks. One might work Monday to Friday, another might be a shift worker. One might be 25 years old with years of running behind them. Another might be 60 and relatively new to structured training. We need to consider work, family, training history, injury history, other sports, and importantly, how quickly that individual recovers. Even during recovery weeks, I generally retain the athlete's normal training frequency. Instead of removing sessions, I'll reduce the volume of the steady runs, quality sessions, and the long run. That maintains the rhythm and habit of training while reducing the overall load. And this brings us back to the principle I mentioned at the beginning. I don't build training programs to maximize how much training an athlete can complete. I build them to minimize the amount of training required to achieve their goal. Every additional session needs to earn its place. Knowing these principles is useful, but applying them to your own training is where things can become complicated. How many times should you run? When should your quality sessions occur? When are you ready for a second quality workout? How should your training change as your race gets closer? That's what I brought together inside the New Zealand Half Marathon Hub Plus. The programs combine my level 1 to 5 intensity system, my foundation and injury prevention, through to final quality periodisation, and the weekly training structures we've covered in this video. So rather than collecting individual workouts and trying to work out where they should go, you've got a structured program where each session has a purpose and a reason for being where it is. The objective isn't to train as much as possible. It's to complete the right training in the right order with enough recovery to absorb it, so you're ready to perform when you get to your half marathon. If you'd like that structure in your own training, join New Zealand Half Marathon Hub Plus.